In this lecture, I'm going to talk about the Slack integration. Slack is a chat and collaboration tool, comparable with Atlassian HipChat, if you are familiar with the Atlassian stack. Jira and Bamboo are also products from Atlassian. So Slack is a new and popular team communication tool that is much better than using, for instance, Skype or older enterprise chat tools for collaboration. So you have the older tools like Skype, maybe Link falls a little bit in that category as well. And then you have the new generation of chat and collaboration tools like Slack and like HipChat. Slack or HipChat is better than its competitors because it allows you to integrate all your tools within Slack to avoid switching between the apps. It can give you a real-time war room to collaborate on problems. This is also called ChatOps. Maybe you've heard of this term already. So ChatOps is what we are talking about right now. If you are familiar with IRC, Internet Relay Chat, it's possible that you already do this since the 90s. So IRC is already more than 30 years old, and you could already integrate tools in the same way that you're doing now with Slack in IRC, even though it's 30 years old, but it never really became popular in an enterprise environment because of also a little bit maybe difficult to use. Slack and HipChat make it really easy to use. Everyone can use it. They have nice UIs. And some just say it's a nice UI over a technology that has been around for already 30 years. So ChatOps is a collaboration mode that connects people, tools, processes, and automation in a transparent workflow. That is the definition that Atlassian gives to it. So it's a collaboration mode and it connects the people, the developers, the sysops, the managers, together with the tools like Jenkins, with the processes and automation. It allows you to do conversation-driven collaboration while having your tools integrated and keeping you up to date of the state of your systems. This will become clear just in a few minutes. To make clear what exactly this is, I will show it to you in an example. So let's say that you're in a team chat with 5 people and then the following happens. At 10:05 a.m., you receive a message in the chat that the backend service is malfunctioning. This alert is already an automated alert that comes in the chat. OpsGenny, a pager tool, also integrated within the chat, puts a message on the chat that Bob has been paged. Then 5 minutes later, OpsGenny sends another message that Chris has been paged because Bob hasn't been responding. At 10:11, OpsGenny puts another message on the chat that Chris has acknowledged the problem. So he took his cell phone and he pressed, "I acknowledge the problem, I will start looking into it." You tell Chris on the chat that the backend service has been misbehaving since yesterday and that it might be because of a new experimental feature that has been pushed late last night. So you can already see how ChatOps can be interesting because now Chris suddenly has some more background information. So if he opens the chat, it's like a war room. You or other people can give some more background information. Then Chris acknowledges and says he will look for the cause of the problem. Then 30 minutes later, Chris finds a solution for the problem and commits his changes. After he commits his changes, Bitbucket puts a message in the room that the code change has been committed and pushed to the Git repository. So this is Chris that made the change. Bitbucket notifies everyone in the chat that Chris has made the change. Jenkins then notifies the channel that a new build has been pushed to the staging server. And then Jenkins notified the channel that the staging version was promoted to production. So now the change that Chris has been made went through the whole cycle. Jenkins has made a build, the build was successful. If the build was failed, Jenkins would also put a message that the build has failed, but the build was successful. So Jenkins just showed here that it has been pushed to staging and then promoted to production. How many messages you want, this is totally up to you. I find that the more relevant messages it shows, but in general, the less messages, the better. So you don't have to put a notification for every successful build, for instance. That would just pollute the chat too much. So 11 a.m., the monitoring system puts a message on a channel that all systems are green again. So all systems are working again at 11 a.m. At 11:30 a.m., Bob comes back from a meeting and sees the history of the chat, the actions that have been taken, and the commit that has been done, and that all systems are okay again. And then at noon, the rest of the engineers see the same history. Everyone is up to date with exactly what happened that morning. So this is an example of how ChatOps could work, relieving the team of a lot of inefficient emails that would have been sent around. If you want to use ChatOps, your task now is to integrate Jenkins with your collaboration tool in a way that you can see the relevant messages in your channel. So the Jenkins messages that you saw, that is what we are going to try and achieve. I will show you how to do this with Slack. You can do the same with HipChat or maybe any other corporate tool that you have in your company. It'll just depend on the tool. I will show it to you in the next demo with Slack.